Late-stage progressivism, which is something I'm going to term. I think actually it's been termed before. I might be stealing this here. I'm not sure. Because you know the term late-stage capitalism?
Yes, of course I do, yeah.
The idea being like, oh my god, at the end of capitalism, everything gets horrible.
It's going to come down soon, guys, I promise. No. Well, the WEF are doing their best.
Not sure that's capitalism. Anyway, but progressivism is certainly here to make a pretty buck while it can. And we'll start off with someone who certainly did, which is Kimberly Crenshaw. And this is the podcast we did ages ago on the origins of intersectionality. She made quite the pretty buck. And we're going to start briefly just going over some people who are making a hell of a lot of our money, as in like the tax money from us, which I'm not happy about. Never going to shut up about. And I know it's a bit boring, but after that, we'll get to something far, far more exciting. So we'll start off just with NHS waiting times being what they are, just to keep you in mind about how wonderful this country is and how we love the NHS and glorious the NHS and blah, 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 except when it doesn't work. Badly. Scroll down on this. I think there's a graph called More Patients Waiting Than Ever for Treatment. There you are. So it used to be about 3 million people on the waiting list. It's now over 7 million and still growing. So it's like 2 waiting lists now.
Those are rookie numbers. We've got to get those numbers up.
It's great job, guys. If you go through this, so there's an arrow at the top left there. I don't know if you can see it, John, but if you click through those, there's some more data. 2 million people are waiting over 52
one of
weeks.
4.
Don't worry about it if you can't. It's not that important. But there's 2 million people waiting over 52 weeks. That used to be 700,000. So it's now over 2 million. So that's great. It's 2 million people just waiting forever for any kind of care. As in, like, actually getting someone to come and have a word with them. Consultation waiting. You want to guess? So 16% of people used to wait 18 weeks plus. It's now 41%. So if you need a consultant, there's basically 1 in 2 chance.
Right.
You're going to be waiting forever.
This just reminds me of the Patrice O'Neill bit about how men delay going to the doctors, and that's how we're different from women. And he said that I'm not going to get a prostate check. I'd rather my prostate fall out my backside first. I won't call the doctor. I'll call my friend. Just duct tape it in. Yeah, I'll duct tape it in. I'll be fine.
Well, that may actually be the solution at this point. If you scroll down, there's another graph just talking about cancer. May 2020 was the last time the cancer target was ever hit for, like, can we actually get someone seen? And then ever since, no, not been hit, ever. There you are. So, there's that. Last Christmas, 4,000 people were waiting about 12 hours in A&E over a given month. It's pretty bad. 4,000 people having to wait 12 hours in accident and emergency. It's now about 40,000 per month. So this is going great. And the thing is the funding. Remember, you've got to fund the whole NHS. That's the reason this is happening, folks. Except it's not, obviously. Been over this a million times, but people who don't know. Next link, please. We can see just the funding, if you scroll down. Never gone down. This is in real terms. So inflation's taken out of the equation here. Only ever gone up. As you can see for 2020 and 2021, massively went up. Additional funding for COVID. So forth is going to be continually, increasingly funded. Made no difference. Isn't making any damn difference. Funny that. Because at the same time, if you look at the wages of the people working there, they're all down.
Yeah.
In line with inflation. So this is a chart of what's happened to people's pay since 2010, working in healthcare in the UK. And literally everyone is down. I think almost everyone there. I think, what is it, nurse starting salary? Is that the only one? No, that's still down.
No, private sector.
That's still down. Sorry, private sector is the only one that's even slightly up.
But those are contractors who make money from selling their tech and drugs to the NHS, which means that if inflation's going up, the costs go up.
I don't know how it's defined here for private sector. I think it's more if the individual nurse or doctor works in the private sector.
Right, okay.
And it's aggregated. So there's that. But if you work in the NHS, just you're literally getting paid less every year, at least since 2010, even with all the more money that's being put in. Something to keep in mind. If you go to the next one here, there's only like 2 groups who are making more money in just wages. One of them's ambulance staff, which is nice. It's nice. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone else is losing. Doctors, nurses, everyone. Just crap, I guess. And there's also, what is it? NHS infrastructure support and support for clinical staff. That's slightly up. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced that the infrastructure support chaps are just those running the IT department.
Yeah.
I think it might be the guys who are taking the piss, who we've listed many a time, but are still taking the piss.
What, lived experience coordinators aren't key to the infrastructure operation of the NHS, Callum?
No, they are. They're very key, which is why we have to keep funding them. Next one here, just 800 diversity officers. They managed to suck up £40 million. God. 800 people sucked up £40 million. Okay, that's impressive. If you go to the next Daily Mail article, they managed to find, on top of those jobs, another $1 million being spent on rando jobs. So this is not jobs that are like diversity and inclusion coordinator, blah, 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 blah. Instead, there's some of the like most ridiculous crap you've ever heard. It's all in the vein of DIE, of course, but I'll just read it. One trust is recruiting for a mindfulness lead to help staff meditate. They're getting $40,000 a year. That's what that's advertised at. If you can get the job.
Right.
If you know how to say I think you're in for a job, mate. Another is looking for someone to act as a change agent. So if you own a bomb, I don't know. It's a joke. But the thing is, like, what does that mean? What
Uncle
does that mean
Ted's got
exactly?
a long career ahead of him.
Like, you're going to come in and, I don't know, steal all the copper wiring? I mean, that's change. Anyway, that person's getting paid 54 grand. Sorry, 54 grand that. For change. Don't know what the change is.
Should we do that, Pete? Yeah, it might be all right.
That's some change.
40 grand.
You know what's change? Taking money out of the system. So I think that's he's done his job. Well, a third health board offers its lived experience training lead free yoga and Pilates sessions as part of its employment package. There you go. You know when you look for jobs and like you look at the salaries and you think, well, that's not that important to me. Do they offer free yoga?
Yeah.
And if they don't, I just don't sign up.
Well, they need to be able to stretch, Callum, so they can get into all sorts of creative poses while they're effing us in the backside.
Of the 20 equality, diversity, inclusion related adverts analysed by the Mail, 2/3 paid higher than average salaries of the average nurse. At 33 grand for the nurse there, and then paying a lot more for all of those positions, as estimated by the Royal College of Nursing. The most lucrative advertisement for an Associate Director of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion paid 97 grand. So that's neat. That's the Associate Director. The Director himself, we don't know yet.
Right.
I'm sure it's, I don't know, 10,000? Maybe he does it for free. Maybe he just loves diversity that much. He does it for free. He's like the Jannies. No, I don't think he is. Frankly, the Jannies need to get better jobs. Need to get these jobs. Because the Telegraph also found a whole bunch more, and there's another 8 mil on top of all the mills we've already spoken about in the next article here. Where they look at job adverts for 16 trusts. In 1 month alone, the NHS decided to post 16 more jobs, coming to 700 grand. That was people they wanted to hire to be dye roles. The 3 trusts spending on dye roles accounted 16% of the total, of the 1.3 million. That's how much those 3 individual trusts are spending on priests. King's College Hospital has also had the highest paid individual employee with a diversity role, with one member of staff earning £128,000. £128,600.
Oh, we can't forget the Christmas bonus.
Yeah, if we don't give him the extra 600, he's going home. Yeah. And then where would we be? I mean, we would just be screwed. I mean, the hospital would be run amok.
How will he buy bread?
Yeah. It comes after Steve Barclay, the health secretary, last month ordered a crackdown on diversity jobs in the NHS.
Oh, where have I heard that before?
Ooh.
Every bloody health secretary.
They're shaking in their boots.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he might do something. Oh, what's he going to do? He's going to say, that's bad.
Didn't Sajid Javid once say, I'm going to crack down on waste and wokery in the NHS?
To quote a great man, so what? God, what a useless egg he was.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Fester.
Yeah, so this is after the government approved for giving the NHS, I think, like another $6 billion or something. They're like, okay, we're going to give you more money because, yeah, you need to get rid of that NHS backlog. Now spend it well. Don't do anything wrong. And they went, we won't. Anyway, I'm hiring 16 new jobs for diversity. Who's in? It's another 700 grand down the tubes.
I would love to see their annual report of what they spent their budget on, and it's just like the opening credits from Phineas and Ferb, discovering something that doesn't exist. Or actually, I can't say that next time.
Anyway, we'll go to the next Mail article because what's they done? Well, he's done something. He's scared them enough to say that they will no longer have goals of boosting BAME disparity ratios. The reason being because they reached that goal decades ago.
Well, that also reads the BAME disparity ratio. What? So less BAMEs.
Well, there's the thing
Widen the disparity.
So they've got house BAMEs.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, but what are these terms? What are these terms? Like, yucca, it's so dehumanizing. Like, what are you doing with your life when you're talking like this, like a human being? Like, oh, you want to talk about some humans? Yeah, let me get yucca out of my vocabulary. Anyway, so the vocabulary of this, I'm just going to put aside for a minute. But the thing is, there was a lack of people with brown skin, not because that like is some kind of, I don't know, lucky charm or something, but instead they just needed it. Trust me. And they reached that long ago, and now they don't need to. So the Conservatives decided to come in and say, we're going to get rid of that goal. Look at me, cracking down on wokery, eh?
Yeah, but have you considered we need some new Welsh news?
Yeah, we do. We certainly do. Also, I love after 12 years, what have you done? Well, I got rid of one goal. Good job. 12 years.
That's right. I'm a Conservative.
Anyway, also the civil servants, also spending 12 million on being brainwashed. Next one here. Cool. And today we found out there's another 11 million being spent in the prisons on exactly the same thing. So I think we're up to about 100 and something million now.
Diversity in the prisons?
Yes.
So presumably...
Don't. No. Don't look up the ONS figures for who's in the prisons. The number of diversity staff, however, employed in the prisons we can talk about, which is now 103 public sector prisons in England and Wales, and they've increased their numbers by 7% since 2020, up to 145 staff.
Right.
What do these staff do? Well, their responsibilities include ensuring prisons are run in line with the 2010 Equality Act, overseeing, quote, equality-related training for prisoners, setting equality plans, promoting the awareness of diversity and inclusion among prison staff, and including all prisoners take part in equality training.
This just reminds me of when they baptized Jeffrey Dahmer.
I'm
This
sure
is
it
just
worked.
the new religion to make sure that you can seem like you can appease the parole board for early release.
Look, I know you murdered babies and ate some of them, but have you considered talking about equality? Oh, now he's reformed. Now the Lord's work has been done, my friends. Yeah, nah. The annual wage bill for this rose 17% between 2020 and 2021, from 5 mil to 6 mil. Thing is, that's more than inflation, because officially inflation between that period was 2.6%, and the thing rose by 17%.
Yep.
So while the NHS staff do not get pay rises in line with inflation, in fact, they get pay cuts consistently over 10 years, consistently, these people get pay rises every year. I think I may have figured out all the money was going, lads. Anyway, the investigation did not include die rolls. They're run by 14 private prisons. They're probably not wasting the money, to be honest. Trying to make money. Senior managers are earning up to 57 grand. That's in London prisons, for the highest paid in the diversity and inclusion roles.
Well, there's a real need for diversity and inclusion in London prisons.
Yes. There's not enough diversity in the prison. Can I say that?
Well, no.
Is that a crime?
No, I don't think so, because we have been told before that if it's 100% Yikmakamur, it's 100% diverse. So what they want to do is they want to increase...
I can't say that the prison should be 100%.
But they're saying
There's no way I can say it.
They're saying it.
I, too, am an intersectional. For God's sakes. It's a joke. Anyway, so the prison said it spent 11 million on all this, which they justified by saying it's only 0.3% of the wage bill. So, okay.
And that 0.3% is still a waste.
So I also take 0.3% of the company earnings home when I steal the lamps.
Yeah.
It's only 0.3%.
Yeah. Look, I'm only spending 0.3% on crack.
No names. Anyway, a report by the Conservative Way Foundation group of 40 MPs last month found that there are 8,000 public sectors working on DIE initiatives. The NHS has 800 staff who exclusively work on equality, diversity, and inclusion, as we mentioned earlier. There's another 794 in all local councils combined, and then another 724 in all universities combined across the country, all funded by the taxpayer.
Yeah, to tell us that wearing second-hand clothes is white privilege. As our older alumni did.
The biggest employer of such big brains is, of course, the University of Oxford.
Right, with their nearly 100% Chinese attendance, they need diversity and inclusion coordinators to lessen the Asians?
Well, they've got 40 full-time equality and diversity officers.
Right.
Whatever they do, I don't know, just going around, I don't know, asking where your papers are.
You black? Good.
Presumably. I don't know what they do. Anyway, police are spending more than 10 million a year on 250 staff who solely focus on promoting equality and diversity within their workforce. And a report by Conservative Way said that this all added up to eventually £427 million being spent on such positions. Now, we've been over some of this before, I'll admit. May not all be news to most of you. But that's why I said there'd be something sweet at the end of this, is because it is indeed late-stage progressivism. We've gone through all this crap, and there are many a response to this. Response from the writers is, of course, stop being corrupt. Weird response, I know. Corruption bad. But if you're left-wing, there is bank to be made, my friends. And that is why we at the... Everyone here is now left-wing. You at home are now left-wing, because we're all going to make some goddamn money. Like Wolf of Wall Street over here.
Is this another royal race grifter?
No, this is an individual who decided to become the wolf of, well, diversity.
Well, yeah, but it says the royal household.
They are indeed.
We have another one on our hands.
This is a lovely lady. I'm not even mad at this lady. Like, hats off to someone who can make this kind of money. Apparently legally. I don't know why any of this is legal, but whatever. It started very simple, they write. Davis launched her recruitment agency, then called BAME Recruitment. Again, the inhuman names, but whatever. She did this from her kitchen table, starting with £3,000 in savings. Humble beginnings. She then had help from Burko. John Bercow.
John Bercow,
Yeah.
former treacherous Speaker of the House.
This
House.
lady who was from
Parliament.
humble beginnings happened to just be buddies with John Bercow, and you know how all of us are, and the most working class of men know John Bercow.
A small loan of $1 million.
Indeed. Anyway, so Bercow helped appoint the first woman of colour to the Speaker's Council in history to this post.
Right.
Yeah, there we are. She got paid for that. That helped the company get noticed, she writes. Other early clients included the Mayor of London, who we all know,
Wait, so she's saying that I was friends with John Bercow,
and
and then John Bercow appointed one of my clients, who was a black woman. So John Bercow gave my friend a job.
And then I met Sadiq Khan, and Sadiq Khan said, he was committed to making sure that people responsible for creative advertising around London, billboards, etc., represented multicultural London. That's right, because it's not just the person
Right.
on the billboard that has to have a certain skin tone for you to read it, because otherwise, I don't know, it's just grey. If they're not white, I can't read billboards. I'm that illiterate, apparently, according to Sadiq Khan. And the person behind the billboard, so if a black man organised the billboard, and the billboard is a white man on the billboard, I still can't read it. I am completely illiterate, according to Sadiq Khan. That's how this works. So we have to have the people behind the billboard and on the billboard be the same colour as the person reading the billboard, or it just doesn't work.
So London is not a good city until we are all wearing the They Live glasses, which turn us black, and every billboard on the Bakerloo line is about interracial bumming.
Or this is just obvious corruption. Like, sorry, who knows
Sure.
John Bercow and then knows Sadiq Khan and gets these kinds of jobs off the ground from their kitchen table? Humble beginnings. Okay. Then came Comic Relief. Again, everyone knows the guys who run Comic Relief.
I agree, it is kind of funny.
Who, diversifying recruitment, got 5 trustees to its boards. Clients now include Amazon Prime, TikTok, eBay, Virgin Atlantic,
ESGs.
BAFTA, and the BBC, the National Theatre, Lloyd's Banking Group, and the Royal Household, which who does not have some kind of contact with? I mean, I know someone from all of those companies.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Why wouldn't you? Again, humble beginnings.
I can't even get BT on the phone if the internet goes out, but you can say who works for them.
Anyway, the Royal Household decided to advertise the Princess of Wales personal assistant job on diversifying.io, the diversity-focused online jobs board,
Wait.
which is really racist.
Yeah, hold on.
I don't know about you, but that...
So the princess's house staff must be a black.
Yep.
Right. I'm just going to let that hang in the air.
I don't know where they advertise the cleaning jobs, but how is this? How is this normal? Okay, turnover. This is just. Right. I'm sorry. I'm almost losing it because you know that meme where the Democratic women all met for like dinner during COVID.
Yeah.
And they're all in these white uniforms. So there's all these white women in white uniforms having dinner when they shouldn't be because it's COVID. But then all of the help were black people.
Yeah, and they all have masks on, yeah.
Yeah, and they all had to wear the masks. I mean, it really is like the Southern plantation mindset is just open and legalized, but it's underground in that way. Anyway, sorry. Turnover hit 1.5 million last year for this lady and is expected to hit 2.5 million this financial year. So there we go. I mean, that's good bank. Again, not even really mad. Just a good job, I guess. Someone's got to make money off all of this. Might as well be you. The murder of George Floyd, had a very big impact on the world and my bank account. No, I shouldn't say that.
And my phone didn't stop ringing for many months because the dealer was like, I sold him the wrong thing, bro.
No, the phone was ringing for many months because CEOs woke up to the tragic inequalities that existed within their companies and were working to bring about change to her bank account. Recession, amongst other squeezed corporate budgets, are a worry, she says. Sadly, diversity and inclusion policies are among the first to be dropped off the agenda. Why don't people buy my luxury goods? The long-term effects of this could be catastrophic to my bank account. No, I've got to stop doing that. Reversing workplace equality efforts and disproportionately affecting the most vulnerable people in society, such as me and my bank.
And my £2.5 million turnover every year. Where will I sleep?
Multi-millionaire is most affected. Why? Because she's a black woman. Okay. Okay, right. She says the underprivileged, such as women of colour, like herself.
They really do talk about it like an inextricable disability, don't they? It doesn't matter how rich you are, you're still black.
Everything about these... This is why I like doing these topics, why I keep doing them. It's just because every time I still can't believe that just how they sound. It's like, yeah, we're hiring the help, so we went to diversity.org.
It actually reads like a digital slave auction. It's just This is not right, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, that's yeah. Her company's stats are also just mad. Let's go to her company because I love this. So this is her company, Diversity Group. She renamed it from BAME Recruiting because I don't know, it just sounded too racist. She says 53% of her recruitment staff are racially diverse, as in the people she sends off, the people she almost. I'm not going to say trafficked, but I mean that's the wording that comes out of this. 39% are alphabet, 55% are female, and 32% have disabilities. Don't know how she got such a high percentage. No jokes. And also, we're gonna end off just on. Okay, you might think, oh come on, like she's taking the piss. She's taking the piss. She's making money out of the system, which is utterly corrupt. And this whole the West is corrupt here, is what I'm saying. Like this whole ideological milieu, which we all live in, is utterly corrupt. And she's taking advantage of how destroyed our country is at that level. And yeah, sure, go for it. It's legal, so do we want? And. But she does publish such nuggets of gold, gives back to the community, to make sure that, well, maybe we're advancing as a society. Such as this. Why being fat is good. Diet culture. The only thing we need to lose is fat phobia. She writes, or at least her staff write, to educate the world. Ugh. The entire concept of diet culture is based on the notion that our bodies aren't good enough as they are and need changing, or in more crude terms, shrinking. And it's not up to us, and it is up to us to put in the work. That's the lie that's being told to you, that you need to put in the work to not be fat. It's someone else who needs to put in the work. I don't know who. Grandma? Who's feeding you? I don't know. So why does diet culture exist, she writes? It's all underpinned by fat phobia. Yeah, that's why. An anti-fat bias. I suppose so. Most people don't want to be fatties.
Reality has an anti-fat bias.
A discrimination against people with larger bodies, which is inherently rooted in anti-blackness racism. Red flag? I mean, I need like a bell.
Yeah.
Just to ring every time this happens.
Yeah, because, of course, black American slaves were famously overweight.
No, she's saying that...
Because
if you think being fat is bad, you're anti-black.
Yeah.
Because all black people are fat, according to her.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense.
Ethiopian famine, famously cause of obesity.
For example, fat people are less likely to be employed than someone of regular size and health. Someone not having a heart attack is more likely to be alive, yeah. Funny that. Concerns are often dismissed, with patients being told to lose weight instead of being given adequate treatment options.
Well, yeah, because you keep going to a doctor and not a vet.
Lady, you have a high risk of heart disease. Have you lost weight? Well, that's not the right treatment. Oh, I'm sorry, he's only a doctor and all. Anyway, other examples include clothing stores not stocking diverse sizes. That's how she writes that.
Yeah, because they can't turn a parachute into a t-shirt.
Where's my bell? These are diverse sizes for people like you. This Miss Lady who's not white. Jesus.
So they need to increase the fat quota in prisons as well, then? Is that how we get 100% diversity?
Public spaces and furniture are also not catering to larger bodies. Yeah, that bench is for 2 people, not 3. So you may be thinking, well, what about health and wellness? Aren't diets supposed to make us healthier? It's actually a myth that our weight determines our health. No evidence is presented. There are no links. It's just trust me, bro. There are ways we can all start to dismantle diet culture and fat phobia in our own lives, such as diversifying our social media feeds to recalibrate our ideas around what is healthy, normal,
so follow
and
all the fatties.
We're beautiful there. I love that.
Well, I hope they all use panoramic cameras.
Yeah, but it's just that we're going to recalibrate what's beautiful. Because we're just going to make people believe being fat is beautiful. Good luck.
This is something I'm working on about consent-based morality. Unfortunately, there's a perverse incentive when you abide by the it doesn't harm you or it's just me doing what I want, I'm not hurting anyone idea. It means that people won't abandon the things that are bad for them, but they still feel ashamed of it. So either they carry themselves around in the world feeling bad about themselves all the time and that people look down on them and they're not as confident and it means that they have to change, or instead they change you, bully you for judging them, and then everyone normalizes their own vices, and that's how we get to biologically denialist nonsense like this that encourages people that having heart attacks is empowering, or men in leather dog costumes at pride parades being encouraged as inclusive education to children.
To be honest, most of this just reads like fat coke to me.
Yeah.
Like she writes here, say goodbye to societal beauty standards set for us.
Yeah, but it's cope to manufacture consent for you not judging her, so she doesn't have to do better. She can just be a gelatinous fat mess.
And we will create our own beauty standards, more diverse spaces where everyone is included.
Is that the new Soviet woman?
Yeah. Yeah, the new Soviet woman is, I don't know, 20 stone.
A land whale.
With any type of discrimination, it is important to learn from people who have direct lived experience of being fat. So do listen to fat activists who have been talking about this issue for years, who are just going to scream at you, I'm beautiful, and I don't know what you're meant to do about that.
Between bites.
Yeah. We must challenge fat phobia where we see it. It can be uncomfortable in practice, but it is so important to normalize calling out statements which uphold diet culture. So I know. Okay, yeah. This lady has made £2.5 million last year.
I mean, she probably spends all of that on...
Yeah, okay. Well, the last thing to mention here is some people have even started whining about this from the left, which I find really funny. This person is whining about how equality, diversity, inclusion policies have become a tool for capitalism. It's capitalismus.
What?
The problem is that in our capitalist economy, I don't know why she's German, equity and inclusion have been sidelined. Instead, diversity involving characteristics including gender and sexual orientation and race has yet become another tool to accumulate resources and social status. Yeah.
So she's saying that women and minorities are the unimpeachable Ubermensch and that appointing them to boards gets companies so much money that it's actually unfair.
Oh, no. She's complaining that people like our previous friend here are using capitalism to distort the true meaning, the real diversity and inclusion, and instead just making loads of money off of being like, do you want a black?
Yeah.
I mean, which is what she's doing. I mean, you're not wrong.
Capitalism is when taxed to pay for fat people.
Yeah, but the thing you're wrong on is that diversity and inclusion was ever a good idea. All of this is terrible. Like, all of this was just cancer from the get-go. And I'm glad that we're going broke at least, and this is on the chopping block for most companies, and hopefully the government eventually, when presumably someone else gets in charge who isn't the Tories or Labour. Otherwise, that's that. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium videos we do, this one on the politics of Mulholland Drive. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.